Good morning, everyone.
How are your new shoes? I have a new respect for my calves these days.
Who was that?
When I realize it's my lower heart.
And the other side. 3 circles. And reverse. And shoe circles. And reverse. And pink circles. And reverse. And reverse. And reverse. Okay, you can put away your sticks. Okay, while we were exercising, Annie said something really important. So I'm going to ask her to repeat it.
I always say important things.
Of course.
That's what I'm here for. No, I was watching something on health the other day, and they were talking about the function of the heart to push the blood into the other parts of the body. But then they asked the question, but how does the blood get back to the heart, especially from the feet and the legs and the lower body? And they said, it's your calf. Your calf is your other heart. And I never thought about my calves in that way before. And now I have a lot more respect and concern about my calves, especially as I work on the rebounder. I just pay a lot more attention to how my calves are functioning and how my feet are functioning.
So this is National Calf Recognition Week.
And Appreciation
Week, right? There's a saying in China, I'm sure there's essentially, Annie just said it, that the legs are the second heart. But that does focus mainly on the calves. So Annie's been doing this rebounder, which is a 40-inch bedroom trampoline with a handlebar across it too, and it's actually a really incredibly good thing. And so she does this kind of bouncing walk on the trampoline, and the other day you did it with 6,200 steps?
I know I did almost 7,500.
7,500.
3.5 miles.
So 3.5 miles, and you know, she's got her little iPad set up, and she's listening to something, and it's right next to the window, and she's got the hummingbird feeder right outside the window, so she can watch the hummingbirds, listen to music, and get her walk in at the same time. And it's really made quite a difference.
Yes. That's right. Don't mess with the old ladies.
Her legs are getting much stronger, and I think it's helped everything.
Yes, it helped everything.
Yeah.
So between Qigong, the rebounder, and the pull-up bar, I think and a little weightlifting, I'm getting a thorough workout every day.
Yeah. So she's been really good. You're probably working out a couple of hours a day now.
Yeah. Well, hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, okay. Good.
Well, 2 if you count.
Yes, if you count all that stuff, it's like 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I bring that up, especially for those of us who are advancing in age a little bit. It's really important to work your legs out. And everybody forgets, it's like everything under your waist is just like terra incognita. When you do these exercises, shift your weight. Every single exercise, shift your weight.
And think of it like a pumping action.
Exactly, because it is a pumping action. That's what brings the blood through the whole system, much less the chi. And you can also rise and fall on the balls of your feet a little bit too. Like when we do this exercise. Don't stay flat-footed. Come up on the balls of your feet, and then on your heels. Balls of your feet, and then your heels. Balls of your feet, and then your heels. It seems like a little thing, but it actually makes a big difference. Okay, head turns. Shift your weight. And center, and right ear up. And relax, and left ear up. And relax, and right ear again. And relax, and left ear again. And relax back to center, cross the hands on the chest, raise the chin. And relax, drop your chin to the chest, tuck it in and raise the back of the neck. And relax, cross the hands on the chest again, raise the chin. And relax, drop your chin to the chest, tuck it in and raise the back of the neck. And relax, back to center. Head rolls. And down to center, and reverse. And down to center and back up. Forward spinal wave. And reverse. And good. Le Croix. And reverse. The windmill. And good. And squats, starting on the left leg. And then the right leg. And the left leg again. And the right leg again. And prayer position. Okay, hands on the knees, up slowly. Keep your head down a moment. Shoulders. And reverse. And the other side. And reverse. And alternates. And reverse. And double. And reverse. And good. And kicks. And shake it out. And the wrists. And the other side. And double. And stretches. And the other side. And reverse. And the other side. And relax your wrists. And the ankles. And the other side. And rotate. And reverse. And the other side. And reverse. And close. And open. And close. And open. And close. And open. and close and open. Doling. Well, I wish that I could shimmy like my sister Kate. And touch the earth. And close your pores. So while Annie was doing her shimmy, an old lyric came into my mind. I wish that I could shimmy like my sister Kate. How many people remember that lyric?
Nope.
Oh, only the best, right? Okay, right. Salute our masters. Salute your classmates. Right. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Ciao. Now I have to look it up.
You know some obscurity.
That was a huge hit.
Yeah.
In the 1920s.
120.
interview with Seattle is Cecile the Foreign Telmo. Thank you. I wish that I could show you what my sister can't. I went to a dance with my sister Kate. Everybody there tried to dance so great. I realized the thing on then I got wise and something. I looked at her, she was in a trance, and then I knew it was in her dance. All the boys are going wild over Katie's dancing style. I wish I could do it like my sister Kate. She shivers like the jelly on a plate. My mama wanted to know last night what makes the boys think the kid's so nice. Everybody in the neighborhood knows that she can shimmy and it's understood. I know that I make it, now we must do great when I can sing like my sister. I mean, shimmy like a sister.
Good morning. Genevieve? Good morning. Genevieve, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good too.
Sunny day in San Francisco?
Yeah, feels like spring around here.
It's spring. Did you take the 8 o'clock class?
Yeah.
So you want to do a different warm up? We'll like do the tapping
Okay.
instead of stick, is what I mean.
Thanks, Chuck.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
We're going to play Clarence Williams' song. It's called I Wish That I Could Shimmy Like My Sister Kate.
I went to a dance with my sister Kate. Everybody there thought she danced so great. I realized a thing or two, and I got wise to something new. I looked at Kate, she was in a trance, and then I knew it was in her dance. All the boys are
It's the
going
bluesy Qigong.
over Katie's dancing style. I wish that I could shimmy like my sister Kate. She shivers like the jelly on a plate. My mama wanted to know last night what makes
Okay.
it so nice. Everybody in the
Thank you, Jack.
neighborhood knows that she can shimmy
And thanks
any
for getting into the spirit.
Huh?
Thanks for getting into the spirit.
Yeah.
when I can
It's
shimmy like
jazz.
my sister.
We'd say that's blues or jazz.
Shimmy like my
It's a
sister.
bluesy jazz.
That's it.
Yes. I was just checking to see if that was coming from me, but I don't think so. Not Catherine. Pas du tout.
I wish that I could shimmy like my
Is this the
sister.
new, is this going to be the new warm-up music?
Like the jelly on a
I seem to recall, didn't we just have a talk about silence,
Right,
practicing?
right. Yeah, it's
everybody in the neighborhood.
stillness and silence and motion and
She can shimmy and it's understood. I know that I'm late, but I'll be I shimmy like my sister Kate. I shimmy like my sister Kate.
You
there's
know,
the MC.
you know you will be up to date when you can shimmy like your sister Kate. Huh? We were in the earlier class when we were doing right. Annie was so expressive when she did it. I said, "Man, I wish I could shimmy like my sister Kate." And nobody knew what I was talking about, so I had to look it up and play it for you. Well, Barbara did,
Yeah, that's my mom. My mom knew, so I feel like
yeah,
I almost.
Barbara did, yeah. And then Annie was teasing me, and she goes, "Oh, you remember all those old ancient things?" And I'm going, "That's 1922. That was just 30 years before I was born, which is the equivalent of going back to 1995 today. So if this was a hit from 95, nobody'd think anything about it." Okay, so let's go ahead and do the HUNYUAN Qigong series. I assume you guys warmed up while I was listening to Sister Kate. You have probably figured out by now two things. One is, although this is Master Feng's arrangement, how he'd like to do it, I like a different arrangement. So we're going to work toward that this week and when we come back, actually next week when we come back. And the other thing is, it's almost impossible to do the whole series in an hour or in 50 minutes or so. Particularly if you add in the facial massage and all that other stuff, which I think is a really good part of this. It really ends up being about an hour and a half. So we're probably going to have to cut some of these moves in here. Also, third thing, and I think Master Feng did this too, but when Master Zhang would lead this, he would mix things in from other series. So it's if you don't know the series, it would get kind of confusing. You go, well, is that a HUNYUAN exercise? Well, no, it's from this series here. But the truth is they all just sort of blend. So I think this week and the week after we get back, we'll go through this series and see if we can work out what we want to do given the probably 50 minutes or so we actually have to practice in, right? So let me adjust the camera just a second here. Okay, well, I'm going to come up and consult that chart here a couple of times during this, but okay, so the first exercise in Feng's series is cleansing the organs and lowering the qi. And I think that is a really good one to start with. It's the only exercise in the series where you wash qi all the way through the body. So wash through all the way down and out the bottom of the feet. Okay, so we're just going to do these 7 times, which gives us a little practice, but it doesn't take too much time. So usually between each exercise, you do 3 Tai Chi Qigongs and you meditate for, 9 breaths or something like that. But these first 2 exercises, in my mind, go together so well that I don't do that. We'll practice them over the next week and a half and kind of decide what we think about that. But what I usually do is the cleansing exercise, and then I go immediately into the charging exercise. All right. Gather chi into the third eye. All right. Let it flood the brain. You're going to keep some of it there, and you're going to lower maybe most of it down to the Danshan proper and store it in the Danshan. Let it cook, let it radiate out to every cell in the body. I was yang qi from heaven. Now gather mixed yin and yang from the living things on earth directly into the Danshan. And then yin qi from the earth. Bring it up through the perineum, up the tailbone to the Mingmen, and roll it forward into the Danshan. Okay, I need to get a clipboard and a pen, so hold on just a second. Okay. So this is something I have not talked about, but it may help you remember and organize this. It helps me remember and organize it. We have 12 moves, and there are actually many more moves that could be put on here. The health massage is 6 or 8 moves in and of itself. It's really hard to remember all these things. So it will help if you can categorize them. And the way it works is that first exercise, which is a kind of standalone exercise, is a cleansing exercise. The second exercise is a charging exercise. Then we're going to do Qi gathering exercises. Then we're going to do circulation exercises with the Qi we've gathered. And finally, we're going to do a whole series of exercises that are really self-massage. Of course, they're using that Qi too. So you could say, and you can probably put more categories in here, but we'll stick with 5 categories. So each of those categories will have anywhere from 1 to a bunch of moves that you can do. And you sort of try to cover all 5 categories, but depending on the day, you might, if there are 3 exercises in a category, maybe you're going to do exercise 1, maybe you're going to do 2, maybe you're going to do all 3 of them, right? So that very first move is the cleansing exercise. The second move is the charging exercise. And there certainly could be more than those 2, but in our category on that page that I sent you, each of those are 1. I should tell you a little difference that Master Zhang did in these exercises, especially the charging exercise. He did a variation on what Feng would teach. So Feng teaches gather Qi into, for instance, the third eye, and you leave some of it there. So you're charging that dantian, and you lower most of it to the dantian. So now you're charging that. You're charging the whole body. And the idea is, by the time you're done with the exercise, you've charged. You put a battery charge in your upper dantian, your middle dantian, and your lower dantian. And that activates, that turns all the juice on through the whole system. All right? That's a more sophisticated version of what my teacher, Master Zhang, used to do. I don't know why our camera is totally fuzzy suddenly. Anyway, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the fuzzy one.
Try walking up to it and back.
Yeah, walking up and back changes it, right? Sometimes if you, yeah, there it cleared up. Sometimes if you clap or make a sudden move, it'll clear up. So Master Zhang would teach a simplified version of that. And what he would say is, when you gather energy into the third eye, you leave it there. When you gather energy into the middle dantian, you leave it there. When you gather energy into the lower dantian, you leave it there. There's nothing wrong with thinking about things that way. It's just a less sophisticated version of what Master Feng does. I like Master Feng's version better because it really, leaving 30% of it here and dropping 66% of it down to your main dantian raising, keeping 33% in the lower dantian, raising the rest to the middle dantian. To me, emphasizes more just the whole system, right? The whole system is getting charged. So I don't mind, personally, the little more sophisticated way of looking at it. Master Zhang also had a different way of gathering the energy. So Feng does this. Right? Master Zhang did this. Either one is okay. Again, personally, I like Feng's way of doing it better. Reach out, breathe in, all right? And then breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And next term, hopefully you guys have read that stuff I've sent around that I have in the morning invitation. We're going to start on Saturday morning, the first Saturday morning, and we're going to do an hour on the correct stance and the breathing technique, and we'll do a few exercises. I know that Master Feng never would discuss the advanced breathing techniques. He just wouldn't do it. The only time he would do it is if you were a personal disciple, and then he might talk about that kind of stuff with you. But in public classes, he always, and in public literature, he always said the same thing. Just breathe naturally. Do not try to control your breathing. Just breathe naturally. And he's absolutely 100% right. But that doesn't mean that there's not a breathing technique you can use. It's just that you have to keep something in mind, or you will trip over your own feet. You cannot conform your movement to some mechanical breathing technique. It will ruin both of them. It just will totally mess you up, and it'll mess up the point of these exercises. So I personally think this routine is the place to practice the more advanced breathing technique, reverse yogic breathing, because the exercises are so naturally rhythmic. They're very simple. They have a rhythm built right into them that for me personally, if you catch the rhythm, it doesn't require any control. It just happens naturally. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm doing what Feng advised, which is just breathe naturally, but it happens to be in the rhythm of reverse yogic breathing. So just keep in mind when we do this, because we are going to go ahead and do it on Saturday after next. Don't force anything. Don't make anything mechanical. Let your body the way to do it is let your body breathe naturally and then watch what happens. And it may be that it will just fall into the pattern without any effort on your part at all, without even any consciousness at all. But it's just become conscious of it, and then see if you can just bring it into reality, right? Why? In my opinion, it's absolutely natural. The secondly is it totally oxygenates the body. It just is for me, it's a really important part of what we do. So let me demonstrate. I know we're getting a little off the subject, but it's important, right? when you are bringing energy into the body, breathe in. When you are sinking energy to the dantian or somewhere else, breathe out. And so forth. So we'll go into this in detail on Saturday morning, 2 Saturdays from now, when we actually do this. But one of the tricks to using reverse yogic breathing is to purse your lips on the exhale. All right. So let me get close to the camera here. All right. You breathe in, almost like you're whistling, except you don't whistle. All right. That's going to extend your exhale, and you'll need to do that. If you do this, it won't work. So actually all forms of yogic breathing are like that. You purse your lips and extend your exhale. It keeps the oxygen in the lungs a little bit longer too, and allows further exchange. Okay, so the next category is gathering, all right? And I'm going to look through here, since this is not the, all right, 2 hands roll the ball, right? Is that gathering? No, it's doing something else, right? Oh, I forgot a category, and actually this is the category. It's mixing, all right? It's like you put the ingredients in the bowl, and now you got to mix it all up. Three dantians, open and close. Is that gathering? No. It's using it, and I'm not even going to say how it's using it at the moment. Sun and moon circulation, is that gathering? No, it's circulation. Circular extension and contraction. Is that gathering? Yes, all right, that's gathering. Single and double leg extension and contraction. Yeah, there may be some gathering in there, but it's mostly circulation. Belt grinding is circulation. Heaven and earth open and close. That's actually a kind of gathering. Collect chi to the Dan Chen. Yes, that's collecting. Gathering. Okay, so in this series, we've got 3 gathering exercises: circular extension and contraction, heaven and earth open and close, and collecting chi to the Dan Chen. Now, if you look at this chart, you'll see they're kind of scattered all over the place. My thought is, let's do the cleansing and then the charging and then the gathering. It makes sense to do the gathering so that you've got fresh chi in your body, and then to do the mixing and the circulation. All right? So let's do the gathering exercises. Circular extension and contraction. Now, some of you who have been doing the Sunday morning classes may remember gathering yang and yin, right? So we do an exercise like this: gather yang chi, pull it down into the body, and you can just continue to gather yang, or you can alternate it with gathering yin, or you can do each of them separately. What I mean is, right? I like to do them both together, gather yin chi. Okay, that is a great gathering exercise. It's actually my favorite. It's not out of this series. It's out of a different series that I mentioned the other day called Big Strength Qigong. It's a winter series when it's cold out and you really need to really gather, But I think before all is said and done, we're going to add it back into this series because I think it's a really good exercise. But let's stick with these 3 that we just identified and do circular extension and contraction. I'm going to turn a little bit to the side here at a 45-degree angle so you can see what I'm doing. Gather chi, bring it into the Dan Chen. All right. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, there's a couple of ways you can think about this kind of gathering. You can gather it directly into the Dan Chen. Or, which is a little more sophisticated version of this, is you don't bring it in directly into the Dan Chen, you bring it into the perineum. Bring it up the tailbone to the Mingmen, back behind the Dan Chen, and then roll it into the Dan Chen. That way you're activating the lower part of the abdomen and the pelvis, right? And it allows you to practice the microcosmic orbit at the same time, because you're actually bringing it into the base of the spine, right? Rolling it into the Dan Chen, but you're also bringing it all the way up the back to the top of the head and rolling it down, right? So you're activating the microcosmic orbit at the same time, and I think that's what we should be doing. All right, and reverse. All right, now bring it into the top of the head, all right, the Ba and the top of the acupuncture point, the top of the head, sink it through the body to the Dan Chen. At the same time, the microcosmic orbit is running, only now instead of going forward, it's going to be going backward. And then the other side. And reverse. Jack, are you going to be here tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, there are several videos of Master Feng doing, there's one or two of him doing the whole series, but there's a bunch of them with him doing different moves from the series. I'll look through those today and see if I can pick out the moves that we're going to do today, because we're not going to do the whole series today. We'll get maybe half of it, and we'll watch those tomorrow. It's really inspiring to watch him because he goes whole hog. It's when he's gathering chi, his body just swells up. It's amazing, and then he releases. So when he's gathering, the term they use for gathering is packing. Imagine that you've got a box, right? And you've decided to send a gift to a friend. But it's kind of fragile, so you got to use all this packing material in there. I just happen to have this box here, right? That's what they mean by packing. So it's not just gathering chi, right? You're gathering chi, but you're packing it into the body. You're literally using the mind to pack your body full of chi. And you think, oh, well, that's just a little mental thing. But try it. Try it and see what happens. All right? Don't forget that your chi and your mind are just two sides to the same coin. Okay, so that's the first gathering exercise. Let's do collect chi to the Dantian. We'll be able to finish both these today, right? This is one that we always do on Sunday morning too. So heaven, of course, is yang, earth is yin, the surface of the earth with human beings and animals and plants is mixed yin and yang. So let's start by gathering yang chi from heaven. Breathe it into the third eye, sink it down to the Dantian, right? And pack it into the body, right? Where it's going to ferment and mature and release its energy into the cells of the body. Breathe in, breathe out. When I go to do this, the movement does not start in my shoulder. Doesn't even start in my Dan Chen. It starts in the bottom of that foot, right? It starts, I'm going to exaggerate this a little so you can see. It starts in the bottom of the foot, comes up the leg, up the back, and then it hits the shoulder, and it lifts the arm, and boom. So it's the whole body doing it. Let's start in the bottom of this foot. When we do Taiji Qigong, all right? Don't just start at the Dan Chen, start in the bottom of the feet. Bottom of the feet. Back to the Dan Chen and the bottom of the feet again. Okay, and relax. So, Jill, when you watch fish in an aquarium, what part of the fish is not swimming?
I don't think there's a part that is not swimming.
Exactly. All right. When you watch a horse galloping across the pasture, what part of the horse is not galloping? All right. It's exactly the same with these exercises. Every part of the body has to be involved in every part. Why is it human beings have problem with that? It's because we spend so much of our time sitting on our butts. All right? And we
And
sort of,
stuck in our
sort of
heads.
exactly, right? We divide the world up into divisions, including our bodies, and then we forget about part of those divisions. So this is about reuniting the divisions, and it's the whole body, every movement. Every movement is the whole body. It doesn't have to be extreme. It can be very subtle, very gentle, but it still needs to be the whole body, every move. Okay, one final gathering exercise. Heaven and earth open and close. When Master Feng would do this exercise, it's a little bit of two categories. It's a little bit of gathering and a lot of bit of circulating. And he really emphasized the circulating part of this, right? So heaven and earth open and close. Heaven, open, earth, close. Everything's closing. Everything's opening, closing, opening, closing. And reverse, same way. Open. Earth is opening. Heaven is closing. Okay, to change the there's always going to be a lot of circulation going on. But to make this a little bit more of a gathering exercise, it's very simple. In fact, there is an exercise in the Big Strength series, which is exactly like this, with one change, right? Maybe two changes. One, get a little bit of a horse stance. Grab some chi, and then pull it into the danshin. Open, grab chi, pull it into the danshin. And if you feel all this being really strong, that's why it's called Big Strength. And again. So hopefully you can feel the difference between those. If you're outside and it's fall or winter and it's kind of cool, an exercise like that can really help warm you up. But in spring and summer, when it's a lot warmer out, maybe you don't want to be quite that intense. You want to be a little more gentle, right? And just do the open and close. So I think we're going to stick with that. for this exercise. Stick with Master Feng's version of this. Okay, we're almost done, and I see Jill has a question.
Okay, so on that one, I got really lightheaded, and I did the trick where you say pay attention to the feet.
Yes.
I was dropping the tongue on the exhale. So what do I do? Is there anything else?
Did you still get lightheaded?
Yeah.
Well, one thing you can do is just slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. Don't any of you ever feel that you have to keep up my pace. I'm doing the pace that I like to do, but don't forget I've been doing this for 40 years. And I should probably try to remember to do it a little more slowly, but don't ever feel that you need to keep up the pace or do anything that I'm doing or that anybody else is doing. You just do what's good for you. The other thing, Jill, is I was going to say this earlier. If you do some of these exercises too fast and you're trying to keep the breathing technique going paced with your physical movement, you'll hyperventilate, all right? And you don't want to do that. So if you're doing the moves really fast, which is possible to do, you'll hyperventilate. So you can't keep the same rhythm of breathing with that, which is getting back exactly to what Master Feng was saying, just breathe naturally. Don't be artificial about it. Just let it happen naturally. Jill, I'm thinking about your problem. Just try that. Just try slowing down. Also, one thing that can happen, and it also can happen when you slow down, because that gives you a chance to breathe more deeply. Sometimes you're just breathing too deeply. All right? It should not be shallow, but it shouldn't be like ultra deep either. It should be moderate. All right? Moderation. Also, as as you're going through the series, when you start, it's the first move of the series, and then you've been exercising for 50 minutes or something, your breathing is going to change a little bit too. So that also could lead to a little lightheadedness. Just whatever you need to do to moderate it, so that you feel comfortable, you feel well grounded, and you don't feel dizzy or Jill, what you're saying, kind of feeling ungrounded and a little woozy. You don't want to get into that territory. So anyway, just do whatever you need to do to slow things down and stay really comfortable.
Mhm.
Because you should be comfortable during this
Yeah.
series. There
Yeah.
are other series where you don't stay necessarily comfortable, right? Where you work really hard, but not this one. This one you should feel comfortable, and when you're done, you should feel great when you're done with this. This series is my favorite of everything we do in Tai Chi and Qigong. Because one of the other things that you should be getting out of this, in addition to the breathing technique and the all the specific things that transfer over to Tai Chi, is you should be developing Tingjin, the ability to to sense what's happening with your energy. And this is a series which is really medicinal. It's about self-care. So you're listening to your own energy inside. And this, for you guys, this may not be news, but for a lot of people, they've never done that in their life. It's never occurred to them to do that. And so there's sometimes a very long learning curve to be able to feel your own energy and then to be able to judge what to do with that energy. And that's the basis of Tai Chi. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let's meet again tomorrow. All right, we'll finish this up. Ciao.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wish that I could shimmy like Sister Kate.
See
See you tomorrow.
you tomorrow.